Good morning, everybody. This is a very exciting day for me personally, and I was thinking about after I drop my kids off to the camp that they're going to this summer, and babysitter, and all the places that my kids go. I was thinking about what do I want to talk about today on live, and I started thinking about what's going on in my life, and today is a very exciting day for me, and I can't wait to share with you why. But I'll give you a little bit of a backstory first. So in 2021, hi Monica. In 2021, my husband and I decided to do something wildly crazy. We were kind of tired of sweeping up millions of kids' toys every single day. And so we decided to sell it all, sell our house, sell almost everything in it. And we decided to go minimal for a season. And the intention behind it was, I would say, threefold. Number one, we wanted to send our kids to public school. In the school district we were in, we did not want them to go to that school. Hi, Vicki. The second reason is we kind of wanted an adventure. We wanted to do something crazy. And then the third was we really wanted to practice like minimal lifestyle. And so we did. We got home from a trip in February, and in like 6 weeks' time had listed our house and sold it and donated almost everything in it. Hi, Mallory. Good morning. So we were kind of like, okay, where are we going to live? We debated going to a tiny home. We debated going like building a tiny home and just like buying a tiny home. Like we had all these ideas, but ultimately we decided on buying my grandparents' camper that they had lived in. And my husband took off one weekend with a few kids, went to Michigan, hooked up this camper and cleaned it out and then brought it back, and my husband started renovating it to live in. And it's a small camper. It's like a 33-foot like generic, I don't know what, I know it's like 30 amp 110. I just know this because I listed it on Facebook Marketplace last week. We lived in this camper for 18 months while we purchased some land with a farmhouse that was deemed completely free. The house was so bad that it literally came free with the land. And so my husband spent that year renovating the inside of our farmhouse. All this to say, during that time, we lived in the camper for 18 months. And as my husband jokes now, the camper, we stayed in it 17 months too long. And obviously, looking back, I see that we had saved money and we did what was really like one of those examples where you sacrifice now what you want long term. That's really what we were doing. We wanted to move, we had specific goals around it. And so we just decided to wait it out. And gratefully, we had, my parents, we stayed on their land for a little bit of time, and then we ended up moving over to my in-laws' land. So really gratefully, we had a place to stay and park our camper, and my husband built a deck and all that. Anyway, so we got in the house and we've kind of been just like decompressing from the last, year and a half of living in this camper with 4 kids in a really small space. And, after we got out of the camper, I really, like I said, like we joked that it was 17 months too long because I really didn't enjoy having such a tight space with such young children. I really, it was a sacrifice for sure, which sounds so like first world problem. And I even hesitate. I feel like still some devalidation in that, but it was really challenging. And so anyway, my husband had this idea where he wanted to Airbnb the camper on our property and see if he could practice getting on Airbnb, because he has a vision and goal of Airbnbs from like a pond house and anyway. So he had shared this vision with me, and every time he shared it with me, I was like not feeling about it. Like I just didn't want. First of all, the camper is parked 30 yards from our house, so I didn't really want like Airbnb guests that close. I didn't want random guests that close to our house. I didn't necessarily want them to stay in the camper. Like it just didn't hold a ton of great time for me personally. And so there was a lot of just kind of ick about it. But because my husband was so excited about it, I kept my desires to myself and I didn't share with him what I was really feeling. I kind of hinted to it. Like, I don't, babe, I don't think people are going to want to stay in the camper, or I don't know if it's like valuable enough. Like there was just some reservations, but I never came out and just clearly said exactly what I wanted, because quite honestly, I wasn't sure what I wanted. I was like, man, I do like the idea of creating some additional income right outside our house. I do like the idea of meeting new people and having them stay on our property. Like, I wasn't 100% clear about what I wanted in the situation. So a few weeks ago, as we're wrapping up the Market Your Personal Brand course, and inside the course in module 5 of the 10 modules is called the Compass. And the Compass is built from your personal brand Venn diagram, which is a model that exists to teach you who you are, to rediscover who you are. And inside of the Venn diagram, if you're familiar with the Venn diagram, there's a circle up top, and then it's like, here, I'll just draw it. I'll draw it real quick on the board for you. I'm sure you're familiar with this, but just in case you're not, oh gosh, we're going to go a little bit more. Let's go right here. A Venn diagram looks like this. There's a circle in the top. Oh yeah, I moved you both. Okay. I was like, oh, I'm on YouTube and I forgot. There's a circle here and there's a circle here. And so these circles represent your personal brand, and there are elements that go in here. Of course, the course goes into that. And where it overlaps in the middle is you in your magic, as it's defined in the course. But where it overlaps here, these areas, which I call the leaf shape, this is your compass. And there, of course, are titles for each of these. But inside this area right here is desires. And desires are built, I don't know if you can see that. Desires are defined as what you passionately pursue. What you passionately pursue is obviously different than your wants. Wants are something that's expressed that you feel that you would like to have, but you don't necessarily act on it. But desires are what you act on. And so until you're clear about these areas, which I could explain, but I don't want to convolute the message, and I do it in the course. I mean, until you're clear about your values and what I call your instinct, which is your most preferred state of being, and of course, the course goes into all this, you're never going to know what you actually desire. And if you're like me, at least for a long time, I was like, man, I know I have a wild, fun imagination, and I can really see myself in many different roles. I could see myself as a farm girl. I could see myself as a professional girl. I could see myself as a stay-at-home mom. Hi, Susie. We get to meet in 12 minutes. I'm so excited. I can see myself as a professional basketball player. Is that realistic? No. But I think because I have an open mind and a wild imagination and maybe somewhat of a delusional sense of confidence, I don't know, I could really see a lot of possibilities, which made getting clear about my desires and my wants really, really confusing. And so here's what I had to do for myself. I had to reckon with the fact that here I am teaching personal branding, and there are areas of my own life that I'm not clear on desires. And I think a lot of times it just comes down to bringing up the right question. Is it, do I want to keep the camper or do I want to get rid of the camper? And it's to be able to make that decision, not out of a creative, wild, who do I want to be mind, I have to know the elements of my personal Venn diagram, which happen to be on the circles where overlap desires are my values and my most preferred state of being. And then I can ask myself a specific question. Since my personal top value is abundance, my personal top most preferred state of being is inspired, what decision is best for me? What decision is most in alignment with my personal brand as it pertains to the camper? And so I had a conversation with my husband, and I call this the reckoning. We were outside and I said, I have to be completely honest with you. I don't want the camper on our property, and I don't want people staying 30 yards from our house, and I don't want to practice Airbnb with a camper like this. I want to sell it, and I want to use that money to build a patio to improve our quality of life here so we can go outside and have parties and have a beautiful patio. And just having clarity about that. And I was like, hey, I know your vision is Airbnb, and I can respect that if that's what we want to do, but I want you to know my desires, and they're very clear, and here's what it is, because this is an abundant choice. This is the choice that's in alignment with abundance and inspired for me personally. So until I could actually have clarity about my personal brand, I could never have clarity about what I actually wanted, and until I know what I actually want, it cannot become a desire. If a desire is what I passionately pursue, then until I know what it is that I even want, I can't make that decision. And so today, you guys, someone is coming at 4:00 with cash to purchase the camper and roll away with it. They've already come in, they've had family come and see it. And so it's just like this full circle moment of going, man, this is one of the first times, honestly, that I have been able to clearly say my desire as it pertains to inside of a relationship, specifically my husband, who had a different desire. And we were able to sort it out. And this time he was so gracious and said, hey, we can get rid of it. Like, if it's that big of a deal to you, then let's do it. And of course, I've said, thank you so much for hearing me on this and hearing my desire. But I think a lot of times, just to kind of wrap this up as I get ready to go chat with Susie, I think a lot of times we don't know what we really want, especially if we're a wild kind of like imagination type person. Like if you're like me, where you could really see yourself in a lot of different ways. You could see yourself happy in a lot of different ways, or you can see yourself in a lot of different identities. It can be challenging to know exactly what you do want. And I believe you have to get clear on who you are, which is your personal brand, which is why I made Market Your Personal Brand the course. And I have some really exciting news today. My Market Your Personal Brand workbook went live on Amazon. So I'll be reaching out to everyone who's in the course so they can grab that, or it's already uploaded in the classroom. So if you're on this video, I know several of you guys are in the course. Pause due to poor connection. Maybe I slide off Wi-Fi. I know, sorry, I don't know what happened with the Wi-Fi on Instagram. I think YouTube's fine, but if you're in the course, all of the new workbook is uploaded in the course, and it's in module 1 homework. You can click it. I'll warn you, it's 135 pages of a workbook. There's a note-taking guide, as well as, in addition to the note-taking guide, there's the homework all built in. It's beautiful. It's got space. It's got tons of white space. It's got no pages. Like, it is a very thorough workbook, and I'm very excited about it. And I think it just takes the course to the next level. And of course, all of you guys who are in here that are already in the course, you just get that because you're already in. So, and then I will be sending out the link to buy it on Amazon if you'd rather just click buy. I actually bought it myself for myself today on Amazon, and so it should be here Wednesday. I'm really excited about it. But anyway, to know what you really want is a really good first step in order to be able to know what you desire, which is what you will actually passionately pursue. And to be clear on that, you have to know who you are. So that's the answer. It's broad, and it's also, in my opinion, such a worthy investment of your time and your energy. I was talking with someone the other day, and she said something along the lines of, this is teetering on self-absorption, like the amount of time that she was spending on finding her magic. And I said, well, here's my opinion. And I wrote it down in the margin of a book one time. I said, the opposite of self-absorption, I believe, is self-expression. And in order to even have an accurate self-expression, you have to have self-reflection. So instead of seeing it as, I'm going to find my magic, to be able to just sit on the couch and sit in my magic and watch Netflix, which you can be in your magic and watching Netflix. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't end there. When you truly find who you are, when you truly find your being, the doing is just a natural overflow. It's a natural expression. It's just knowing what you will be doing that becomes more clear. It's the opposite of self-absorption is self-expression. That's the goal. That's Market Your Personal Brand. It doesn't stay with you. And to think that you being richer, more vibrant, more alive, more in your gifting is for exclusively you, like it would never benefit anyone else, to me is not accurate at all. You cannot help but raise the frequency of the as I call it, the ethos that you're in, according to Parker J. Palmer. You cannot help but raise the frequency of the ethos that you're in. If you raise your own frequency, it is natural. And in the course, we talk about how a butterfly flapping its wing literally is scientifically proven to be able to influence a storm across the globe. If a butterfly wing flapping can influence that. Imagine what you walking out the door can do, what you with a smile can do, with you with what words you can do. I mean, it's like insane to imagine the role you play. Although there's so many of us walking around, it's pretty incredible. All right, I'm going to hop on my call with Susie. You guys go follow Susie. She is at Susie Andrade or Susie Q Andrade. You can see her comment here if you're live. And she is building a really incredible community around the idea and the around the vision of yet. So if any limiting belief or limiting statement that you say, and then you add a comma and write yet at the end, like I cannot do this yet, it all of a sudden brings hope. And I really love what she's doing. And I have a call with her in a few minutes. So I'm so excited about that. I'm going to hop off and do my little prep work before I get on with her. But you guys have an amazing day and go find out what you want.